Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Week 15 Eagles versus Bears recap. Please make sure you like this vid and subscribe to the Hardcore Sports Network if you haven't done so already. So let's get to it. This game was an interesting game right here. So the Philadelphia Eagles, hey, they got the W. They defeated the Chicago Bears, and now we're just one game away from clinching home field advantage. Okay, we're one win away. We're 13-1. All we need is that one more win. We got home field advantage clinched. Philly halftime. What is up? Thank you for coming in here, rocking with me. We had an awesome time last Wednesday on the Pick'ems with Further, and thanks for coming in today. And I saw your short about Goddard. Yep, that's some good news right there. So that's good that he's been activated. So it's interesting because while the Eagles are one game away from home field advantage, it should be a happy vid. It should be a happy recap. We should be celebrating what the Eagles did. And we should be looking forward to the possibility of clinching home field advantage on Christmas Eve. But despite the fact that we're one game away, it's not really going to be so much of a happy recap. It's going to be a mixed bag recap in spite of the fact that we won. Because if you guys saw the game, you know exactly why it's a mixed bag. Because it's a win, but it was an ugly win. It just, as we're going throughout the game, it just felt like it was a lot closer than it should have been, especially based off the way we played the past couple games, the way we destroyed both the New York Giants and the Tennessee Titans. I mean, we should have destroyed the Chicago Bears on paper. This should have been another blowout win. Because I, along with so many others in this fan base, predicted another blowout for the Eagles. But we didn't quite get to that point right there. We got the W, which is good. We're supposed to win these games against these teams like the Chicago Bears, the Houston Texans. And I will get to that one in a second, halftime. Absolutely, you are correct. And I will get to that point. And yeah, it's just like we have a habit. I don't know, the game planning obviously just wasn't all the way there. One thing in particular that stood out was the offensive play calling. We ran the ball too much with Jalen Hurts. This felt like a throwback to last year in terms of play calling going into this game, where it's like, remember last year we were constantly bitching and moaning about how, we got to run the ball more with our running backs. We got to run the ball more. But for whatever reason, we didn't do that here. And I saw Nick Sirianni's explanation about the Bears being a decent run team against the run. I'm like, what? Because I know he's on WIP and he gave that explanation. But because we didn't run the ball that much, that led to Jalen Hurts getting injured in the third quarter. He took a bit of a big shot there. Now, he did continue to play through the game. He toughed it out and he finished the game. However, Jalen Hurts, he got injured, and now he's doubtful for the game against the Cowboys Christmas Eve, which is a big game against the division rival, the biggest game on our schedule to close the year, because we got that, then we got the Saints New Year's Day, then we close out against the Giants, which by that point we could probably be resting our starters, but because we were hold on a sec. So Nick Sirianni said he should have ran the ball with Miles more. Yeah, I caught part of what he said on WIP. I caught part of that. I mean, I caught the part where he talked about the Hurts injury. And he talked about why they went away from the game plan. So I probably did miss that part right there. But yes, definitely we should have done that more with Miles Sanders, which I don't understand why he didn't do that, because Miles Sanders has over 1,000 yards on the season. He's behind an excellent offensive line. And if we ran the ball with him more, the injury that Jalen Hurts sustained could have been prevented. It could have been prevented. We wouldn't have had to worry about this. So that was the biggest mistake we made right there. Now, fortunately, it's not going to be a fatal mistake as far as our season goes, because it's only worst case scenario. He's probably going to miss this game against the Cowboys. And if we win again, worst case scenario, we lose that. We win against the Saints. We have home field clinched then. We'll probably just rest him against the Giants. So, Fortunately, it's only a minor injury, but still, if we had gone more with Miles Sanders, obviously we could have prevented. It would have been less likely that he would have gotten hurt. Because let's see, he ran 17 times. Miles Sanders only got 11 carries for 42 yards, and he had one for 18, which wasn't that bad. We could have tried more with him. Maybe he could have broke the game open a little bit more running, and we wouldn't have had to rely on Jalen Hurts as much to run the ball, and not to mention that lack of presence from our actual run game with Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell, that also played a role. Well, never mind. I was going to say that it played a role in the passing game not being all the way there, but I say scratch that because I think it's just one of those games with Jalen Hurts. We clearly know he's a better passer. His passing mechanics improved. He should have done better overall passing. We maybe shouldn't have gotten those 2 picks, but it happens. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know. Maybe this was just. Wait. Is this? Oh, is this just confirmed right here? He's out for at least 3 games. We back for the playoffs. Let me see. Yeah, I'm going to Google that up right now. So let's see. We got so I'm looking it up right now to see what's going on because this is the first I've heard of it. Okay, so it looks like he's probably going to be missing a few games is what I'm starting to see right now. So I mean, this just broke about an hour, 2 hours. Broke about an hour ago. So yeah, well, so right now yeah, that doesn't look good right there. I mean, yeah, but again, if we just ran the ball more, this most likely would not have happened. But I mean, Gardner Minshew's still a solid backup, so considering the team we have around him, he could still help us out. Though, I mean, so I'm now at this point, I'm hoping that Gardner Minshew, he can at least step up for the time he plays. Because I see with Gardner Minshew, kind of it's a little bit similar to Ryan Fitzpatrick, where he'll have his hot streaks, but he's not a truly long-term reliable option, hence why he's a backup. I see a little bit of Fitzpatrick in Minshew, so we might get that right there. Okay, so Jalen Hurts is live right now, so I'll check back with halftime later, either through DM or sometime to see what's going on. So thanks for coming in. And halftime, we'll check out, see what's going on with Jalen Hurts. So we got that going on. That might lead to another vid later after this stream right here. So that's a possible vid coming later. But yeah, so the game itself, though, so now I'm going to try to focus a little bit more on the actual game itself. Yeah, I think we should have ran the ball more, definitely. I mean, Miles Sanders, yeah, okay. I mean, he was doing all right when he was running the ball. I just don't understand why we did that. I mean, Nick Sirianni gave an explanation, but it didn't make sense as within the explanation of what they were thinking going into the game. It didn't make sense as to why they had that thought process going into the game of worried about the Bears' run defense. I mean, they're not that great of a run defense, really. I mean, passing, so I think that was the biggest mistake clearly right there. And obviously, Miles Sanders, but he did have that fumble, though, too, so I got to pick at that, man. I mean, the Bears did get a touchdown off that right there. So, I mean, fortunately, it wasn't costly, but it was one of those things that could have came back to bite us in a different situation. And that fumble did make the game closer, though, too, because the Bears capitalized off it and scored. If we don't fumble that ball, who knows how things go differently. Maybe we move the ball downfield a little bit more. Maybe we punt it. They have to run the entire field and they don't get in the end zone. But that also shaves more time off the clock if Miles doesn't fumble. I mean, you get what I'm saying. The dynamics of the game could have been completely different without that fumble. I mean, we still won the game anyway, but mistakes like that, we can't let that keep happening. I know we'd have a missed field goal by Jake Elliott, but that's a mistake. That's the mistake I'm going to nitpick at the least. I mean, missed field goals do happen, so especially in windy weather. So I'm not going to say anything about that. Move on from that. Jalen Hurts, it don't look like he's going to be playing right now. I mean, at least, I mean, it's still saying about an hour ago, it looks like Minshew's going to be starting. I didn't see official confirmation, but after halftime left that comment, I looked it up. But that'll be more. But by tomorrow, when I do my Eagles Cowboys preview, I'll have more info on that. So I'm going to save that for tomorrow. So let's get focused on this game, the Bears. So obviously now the Bears, I understand the Bears, even despite their 3-11 record, offensively, Justin Fields has given them a little bit of a spark. He's trying to carry the team. You know, they've been competitive in a lot of their losses. So the fact that they were competitive isn't really that. It's not really like a major surprise, but considering how we've been dominating recent games, it was a little bit unexpected. But sometimes that tends to happen when you're heavy favorites going into game. You're expected to blow a team out. Sometimes you tend to overlook that team a little bit. And you're focused on the next game ahead. And I think that may have happened too with the Eagles. They didn't have the best game plan in the world for this because they're looking ahead to the Cowboys game on Saturday. And they weren't really thinking of the Bears as that big of a game. They're just looking at that as kind of being in the way of the Cowboys game, if that makes any sense. So that was probably the mindset going into it, is like, okay, we got the Cowboys game ahead. The Bears game's just kind of in the way between us and the Cowboys. They're probably looking forward more to that, and they kind of underlooked the Bears a little bit. So I think that certainly played a factor there. But overall, despite some of the mistakes, it wasn't an atrocious game at all. No. And even passing, take away the 2 interceptions, Hurts was still decent passing. He still completed 22% of his passes. He still got 9 completions to A.J. Brown, 5 to Smitty. And, you know, Quez Watkins, he got a few receptions in there. Didn't get much yards, but he got a few receptions. So Jalen Hurts was still all right passing in spite of that. So it wasn't the worst game in the world, but it definitely could have been better. Our defense still did a pretty solid job containing the Bears, all things considering. We did. I mean, you know, we got a few hits we got some pressures on Justin Fields. We forced him to run out of bounds. We still got 6 sacks on him, so we were doing all right. We actually did okay. We did a good job defensively. Oh, hey, AK, shout out to AK, Eagle. Okay, Eagles Uncensored for coming in. Salute. So right now, oh, I see what happened. Yeah, I see what you're saying. The text. It's all right, though. No worries. No hard feelings. As I was saying, man, yeah. So talking about this game right here, I feel this was a mixed bag. You had some negatives and nitpick, but you also had some positives too. And I was just got through talking about Jalen Hurts' injury and all that, which I'm going to clip that into a separate video right there. So I'll have that up before the end of the night. And you're going to, right, I was saying, like the Eagles, yeah, they did a solid job defensively. They did a solid job. You know, they contained him. Yeah, they contained Justin Fields. And Justin Fields had to come out for a play too. And Justin Fields, you see, he was the leading rusher too for the Bears. So what you take away from this game, if anything, just from a football standpoint, not from an Eagles standpoint or a Bears standpoint, just a football standpoint, is you want your running backs to be the lead rushers that run the most. With those smaller, mobile, more athletic QBs, you can have them run when needed, but you still want your running backs to be the main runners. Because you had Justin Fields, he's had a few injuries his first couple of years here. And he also, remember, he had to come out for a play, and Nathan Peterman, I can't even say his name without laughing. He had to come in for one play and threw an incomplete pass. Kind of that, wait, he's still in the league moment? I mean, there's nothing funny about Fields getting injured, having to come out for a play. Of course not. I was laughing at the fact that Nathan Peterman's still in the league. That's what I'm laughing at. I mean, Fields, you know, he had to come out for a play, but man, you know what? Justin Fields having to rely on the run the most. It's led to him getting some injuries too. So, like I was saying, there's anything you want to take away from this game from a football standpoint is what are the benefits to having those mobile quarterbacks is they can use their legs and make some plays. But also one of the cons is if they run too much, you run the risk of them getting injured. And you can look at both teams from this game and say that. So that goes both ways. So that's one lesson right there. That's exactly why the Eagles, like I said earlier, should have ran the ball more with Miles Sanders. But, I'm not going to, I already talked about that earlier. I'm not going to harp on that too much. I mean, at least we got the win against the Bears. At least we didn't lose to them. So that helps us because the Cowboys did lose to the Jaguars. But to be fair, I'm not going to laugh at the Cowboys too much because Jaguars have gotten better recently. So it's not the worst loss in the world. It's still an embarrassing loss for a team that was still that could technically still win the division. It's an embarrassing loss, but it's not the worst loss in the world considering they were playing a Jaguars team that's just starting to find itself. But at least with the Eagles against the Bears, we actually did come through with the win. Ugly, but we got through with the win. So at least we didn't lose like the Cowboys did. So that was good right there. And look at this game right there. I mean, let's see. I mean, rushing yards, we should have probably ran the ball more. I mean, and the Bears controlled time of possession, surprising, which that's one of the reasons I actually got to give credit to our defense. And that's one of the reasons I gave them credit because they had the time possession about a minute over us about. So I got to give the Eagles defense credit for doing enough to stop them. I mean, granted, it was against Chicago's Bears team who doesn't have much on offense, but we still did what we had to do. I mean, and I feel though, yes, as an Eagles fan, it's fair to point out, I got to give Justin Fields credit for that run that set up their first touchdown of the game early when they went up 6-3. That was an awesome run by Fields. If he didn't step out of bounds, that would have been a highlight reel touchdown. I got to give Fields credit for that run right there. I'm not going to take that away. That was an impressive run by Justin Fields. So I'll give him credit on that one right there. I feel it's at least fair to come on here and admit that. So that was a nice run by Justin Fields, and he did show some potential in this game. He was okay passing, considering he doesn't have many weapons, and considering our defense was getting pressure on him, considering the talent we have there. So, but then again, also our secondary is a little banged up with C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Reed Blankenship being out. So, yeah, I can see that. So, yeah, I can see how they had a little bit of a spark against us. But, hey, Justin Fields, I got to say from this game, I keep seeing with the Bears, if they gave Justin Fields better weapons to work with and they gave him better O-line, he could help lead this team somewhere down the line. So I'll take that away from this game right there, too. We could have done better, man. That Justin Fields, they could do better in the future if they build up their team properly. So I got to give the Bears props on that. I mean, the record doesn't show it, but there is some potential there if they could get everything organized. But yeah, you know what? So so I got to at least take that away from this game here. But hey, a win's a win, so I'm happy with that. We did what we needed to do right here. I mean, we could have done a better job with the play calling, obviously, but hey, you can't always win them impressive. You can't always go out there and blow everybody out. It's not going to happen every single week. Sometimes you just got to take the wins when you get them. And we got the win there. We're moving closer to home field advantage. And considering our schedule, we should at least be able to do that. I mean, worst case scenario, we don't beat the Cowboys. Okay, we should at least be able to beat the Saints, get us up to 14 wins. We should at least do that, and that should be good enough for home field advantage. And the Giants, we might decide to rest our starters. Maybe we do drop a game there, but if we have home field advantage, is it really going to be that big of a deal? I mean, I don't see it being that big a deal. And with Gardner Minshew, hey, with him as our quarterback, if he at least gets hot, at the right time, he could at least lead us some wins. So he's got to play against the Cowboys. If he at least gets hot for that, okay, that can work out in our favor and get us a W. But I'll be back more to talk about that tomorrow, 12:30. So, or actually 12 tomorrow. So at noon tomorrow, I'll be back to talk about the Eagles Cowboys and preview that. So if you guys that came in today can check that out tomorrow at noon. I'll also remind you in the Hardcore Sports Network group chat for those of you from the network watching this stream. So yeah, it's all really got to say right there. So everyone that came in, dropped a like, that left a comment in the chat. I salute you for doing so. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for showing your support for me here. That's all I really got to say right there. So, hey, a win's a win. We'll take it. We just need one more to get home field advantage. Fly, Eagles, fly. Until next time, Nicky Stees signing off. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.